Joker, Folie, Deux, the much-anticipated sequel to the 2019 smash hit Joker, premiered in October 2024, directed once again by Todd Phillips. This film brought back Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck, with Lady Gaga making a high-profile entry into the franchise as Harley Quinn. The original film redefined comic book adaptations with its dark, introspective tone and social commentary, grossing over $1 billion worldwide and earning 11 Academy Award nominations, including a win for Joaquin Phoenix as Best Actor. The monumental success of the first film created sky-high expectations for its sequel. Fans were eager to see how Arthur Fleck's descent into madness would evolve and whether the inclusion of musical elements would provide a fresh narrative twist. However, the sequel's reception suggests that lightning may not strike twice. Box office performance: a disappointing return. Despite the anticipation, Joker, Folie, Deux underwhelmed at the box office. With a reported budget of $190-200 million, the film barely managed to gross $206.4 million worldwide. In stark contrast, its predecessor achieved over $1 billion in global earnings against a modest $55 million budget. The sequel's domestic opening weekend earned $37.7 million, a far cry from the original's $96.2 million debut. Even more concerning was the dramatic 81% drop in revenue during the film's second weekend, pulling in just $7 million. Such sharp declines are indicative of poor word of mouth, which remains critical to box office longevity. Analysts attribute this financial struggle to a disconnect between audience expectations and the film's execution. Critical reception: mixed reviews and low scores. Joker, Folie, Deux failed to replicate the critical acclaim of his predecessor. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a lackluster 32% approval rating from both critics and audiences, signaling widespread dissatisfaction. Many reviewers cited the film's fragmented tone, with its attempt to integrate musical elements receiving particular criticism. CinemaScore, a trusted measure of audience reactions, gave the film a rare D rating, marking it as one of the lowest-rated comic book adaptations in history. Critics from outlets such as the New York Times called it a self-indulgent experiment, while others felt the film struggled to balance its ambitions with coherent storytelling. Creative direction: a shift to musical elements. One of the most controversial aspects of Joker, Folie, Deux was its bold pivot toward musical storytelling, a stark departure from the psychological intensity of the original film. The inclusion of Broadway-inspired sequences divided audiences, with some praising the creative ambition while others found it incompatible with the dark and gritty tone that defined the first film. Critics noted that while the musical numbers were visually striking, they often felt disjointed, interrupting the narrative flow rather than enhancing it. Lady Gaga's presence as Harley Quinn was undeniably one of the most anticipated elements of the sequel. Her acting, while widely praised for its charisma and depth, struggled to compensate for what many viewed as an underdeveloped character arc. Some critics argued that her dynamic chemistry with Joaquin Phoenix was underutilized, leaving fans yearning for a deeper exploration of their twisted relationship. Additionally, the decision to blend a theatrical, almost surreal aesthetic with the grounded realism of the original created a tonal inconsistency that alienated a segment of the audience. This creative gamble, while intriguing in concept, ultimately failed to strike a chord with viewers who expected a more cohesive continuation of Arthur Fleck's story. Audience reception: divergent opinions. The audience response to Joker, Folie, Deux mirrored its critical reception, sparking intense debates among fans and casual moviegoers alike. Longtime fans of the first film were particularly vocal about their disappointment, expressing frustration over the sequel's departure from the gritty realism and emotional depth that defined the original. Social media platforms such as Twitter and Reddit became battlegrounds for heated discussions, with some viewers lauding the film's audacity to experiment with musical elements, while others labeled it a tone-deaf sequel. The D CinemaScore rating highlighted a significant disconnect between what audiences anticipated and what the film delivered. Many criticized the disjointed pacing and lack of cohesive storytelling, which they felt undermined the psychological complexity that made the original a masterpiece. Some viewers described the musical sequences as jarring and out of place, further detracting from the narrative's impact. Despite Lady Gaga's highly praised performance, even her portrayal of Harley Quinn failed to resonate with some, as audiences felt the character's arc was underexplored. The sequel's attempt to mix genres left a sizable portion of viewers questioning whether it was a sequel made for fans or simply a creative experiment for its filmmakers. Financial implications. Potential losses for Warner Bros. From a financial perspective, Joker, Folie represents a significant misstep for Warner Bros. The film's production budget was reported to be $190–200 million, not including additional marketing expenses, which industry analysts estimate at around $100 million. This puts the break-even point between $375 million. Given the worldwide gross of just $206 million, Warner Bros. Faces projected losses of $200 million. The studio had initially positioned Joker, Folie as a tentpole release, but its underperformance has cast doubt on the profitability of high-budget, experimental sequels in the superhero genre. Marketing strategy. Pre-release challenges. The marketing campaign for Joker, Folie focused heavily on its bold creative elements, such as the inclusion of musical sequences and Lady Gaga's role as Harley Quinn. However, this strategy may have backfired. The decision to premiere the film at the Venice Film Festival, where it received lukewarm reviews, set a negative tone for its subsequent release. The trailers, while visually stunning, offered little insight into the film's narrative direction, leaving fans confused about what to expect. This lack of clarity in the marketing message likely alienated both casual moviegoers and die-hard fans of the original. Competition and market conditions. A crowded release schedule. The timing of Joker, Folie played a significant role in its underwhelming box office performance. Released during a competitive season, the film faced stiff competition from other blockbuster titles, including Dune, Part 2, and The Marvels, both of which catered to overlapping demographics. Furthermore, the film's R rating limited its audience reach. While the original Joker succeeded despite this restriction, the sequel's polarizing content and lack of clear appeal to younger audiences made it less accessible. Future of the franchise. Uncertain prospects. The disappointing reception of Joker, Folie has cast a shadow over the future of standalone character-driven narratives within the DC universe. Warner Bros. Have positioned the sequel as a cornerstone of their strategy to explore auteur-driven, unconventional films that step away from the interconnected storytelling of the mainline DC extended universe. However, the film's underwhelming box office performance and polarized reception may force the studio to reevaluate the viability of such high-budget, experimental projects. While Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga's performances were widely praised, the criticism surrounding their character arcs, particularly the lack of depth and exploration, suggests a missed opportunity to solidify the sequel as a compelling follow-up. The film's reception raises concerns about whether audiences still have an appetite for darker, art house-style superhero films, or if the novelty of the original has simply worn off. Additionally, the financial risks associated with ambitious projects like this might prompt Warner Bros. To shift focus back to more commercially safe, formulaic storytelling. As the studio balances artistic freedom with profitability, the fate of the Joker franchise and similar standalone ventures hangs in the balance, leaving fans to speculate on what might come next for these iconic characters. The impact of risk-taking in filmmaking. Joker, Folie serves as a reminder of the inherent risks involved in creative experimentation. While the film's ambition to innovate within the superhero genre is commendable, its execution highlights the importance of balancing artistic vision with audience expectations. For Warner Bros. And the broader film industry, the lessons from Joker, Folie may influence future decisions regarding high-budget, experimental projects. As audiences become increasingly discerning, filmmakers must navigate the fine line between creativity and commercial liability. Thanks for watching, folks. If you made it this far, you deserve an Oscar more than Joker. Folie did. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because unlike Arthur Fleck, we won't dance off into the sunset without your support. And hey, drop a comment below. Was it a hit, a miss, or just a really expensive karaoke night?